Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or depends on wherever you are in the world. This is Mick Ruby from MUFC Realist TV, providing you with what's hot on the press regarding Manchester United news and transfer news. And in today's top stories, we have some positive news and we have a little bit less positive news. But let's get right into it. But before we do, please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't, and we're going to talk about the top stories, which is Ten Hag's future is still safe according to Ineos. And also we're going to talk about the return of the warrior, Lisandro Martinez, might feature against Arsenal and might be available to play a full 90 minutes in the FA Cup final. And also Mason Greenwood, the future will be decided. This is Mick Ruby. Of course, this is MUFC Realist TV and Beat the Press. Let's do this. Let's go.
Has the Premier League ever been more challenging?
Right, wel. I feel welcome. Dit is my home and I want to achieve success. Okay?
Well, another die week for Manchester United. And as a fan and as independent journalist and broadcaster to cover this United team, it has been nothing but mentally draining. But, the door mood hasn't really changed. You saw my reaction the other day that I only laughed because I have nothing else to offer more than, you got to laugh it out, because always look at the bright side of life, because we are coming into a rebuild, a proper rebuild in this summer. And the question mark raises over Ten Hag's future. This has been definitely fueled by a lot of the mainstream medias creating the headlines, because we are back into the 18-month cycle to sack a manager at United. We haven't really kept a manager for its full 3 years tenure. We've been sacking managers every 18 months. And of course, no other than the British press and media are leading this, because editorial, they will continue to make a lot of clicks and money on United. And however, the reports coming out is speculations. Nobody really knows other than what's coming out from Ineos itself. The plan is what we said here, is to stick with Ten Hag. There's not going to be an interim manager replacement for the FA Cup. Doesn't really make any sense. So let's debunk that story as well. Ineos is planning really hard. Jason Wilcox is there as an interim sporting director, what we were reported earlier to a couple of weeks ago when he joined. He's playing a double role, like as a technical director, as a sporting director, and he's sitting down planning with Ten Hag for the summer. Who is out, who is going to be purchased, and developing the game plan. Omar Barada will start, then you have Dan Ashwood will start. So that is the main priority, to put the right structure in place, as Ten Hag hasn't really worked under a structure for these first 2 years. So they're quite lenient to understand the injury crisis that has been setting back his playing style. But at the same time, they want to create accountability for Erik Ten Hag, because now Erik Ten Hag will have somebody with footballing knowledge that he will report into. Basically, you set the style of play, you listen to what your boss is saying. Eric, you got to rotate. You got to play more squad. Squad depth is included. And we are going to invest in the Carrington facility training ground, according to the latest reports, which is pretty much out of date for the past 20 years. So maybe that has to do with the injuries. Maybe it's the training regime, or maybe it's the lack of coaching. If you look at the coaching staff, when Ten Hag joined, he only was allowed to bring in 4 people into his entourage, and there was Michel van der Gaag, there was McLaren, and there was one analyst and somebody else, which I can't really remember. The rest of the coaching staff is the old regime, going all the way back from Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So they're looking to overhaul that coaching staff as well, because it's been also assessed, what are you doing on the coaching ground? We need to play, practice drills. Benny McCarthy is leaving, the attacking, and we have set pieces coaches, we have defending coaches. So the future is looking like a total overhaul, and everything needs to be taken in consideration. If you back Ten Hag for another 12 months, if you give him the right tools and foundation and support, who's to say that he cannot do it? He did it at Ajax, and he can definitely do it here at United as well. And in the interim, they are planning for Ten Hag's successor, meaning it's kind of a plan that we are planning ahead of Erik Ten Hag. So we know there's going to be a manager available in 2025, and we might go for that manager if it doesn't work out for Ten Hag. But in the interim, we've seen that Bayern has expressed interest in Ten Hag and Ajax also. So, and Ten Hag does have options. So for me, if Bayern, who might win the Champions League, might come for Ten Hag, that means that they see something that we United fans don't have: patience, 100%. Um, so, in terms of Thomas Tuchel, that news is more agent filler to say, hey, I'm out there, I'm available, come and get me after the Champions League. But there's been no concrete talks between Ineos and Thomas Tuchel. It's been more inquiries from the agent side. So for me, Thomas Tuchel, in that way, is kind of like for Ten Hag, but he doesn't really fit the cultural, teamwork what they are trying to build here. Tuchel does play very sort of 4-3-3 football, but he's always been falling out with every club he's been into and been sacked. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't see this gelling with the Ineos the way they've been recruiting. If you look at their persona profile and what they really want, but everything will be revealed in the summer. But for now, they're sticking with Eric Ten Hag. So this is getting boring. So let's start with something very more positive. I just don't really like to talk about this Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. It is very boring and who we are linked to as a potential manager. So let that unfold, and Ineos will sort of let us know within the next couple of weeks. But we're going to talk about Lisandro Martinez, the warrior, Mr. Licha, Mr. Butcher, is back in training and he's ready for action. He's been ready for a couple of weeks. He's been doing grass training, he's been doing strength training, and he's been spotted at Carrington, and reports coming out to say that he is fit for Arsenal, which is music to my ears. But at the same time, they are looking to get him match fit for the FA Cup. We miss Licha so much as a communicator, as a leader at the pitch, and our defensive line hasn't really been the same. If you look at last season, Licha was instrumental in how we conducted ourselves, in how we were acting like, communicating as a team, giving each other high fives and being warriors on the pitch. So this season, without Licha, without Casemiro, without so many key players, United has not been the same. So for me, it's led to believe here, if I read the reports, that Ten Hag will set up a navigation heavily depleted squad when Manchester United take on Manchester City in the FA Cup May 25th. But the thing is, what worries me as a fan now, and to say that Ten Hag is always saying that, yeah, we have a lot of players coming back, but at the end of the day, even if they do come back for the FA Cup final, they're still not match fit. But how are we going to do it? I don't care, as long as we win. Because FA Cup, if you win, this is the only way we can get into Europa League at the moment. And that plays a vital part in terms of transfer money and what we can actually get in the summer window. Because getting into Europa League generates a lot of money for the club that can be utilized in the transfer windows. So let me know what you think. Are you happy for Licha? And who else are we expecting back? Varane, potentially. Kwambala potentially, Harry Maguire potentially, we don't know. Johnny Evans, he's he's getting back to his match fitness as well. But at least we cannot see Casemiro playing there at the back line. So let me know what you think. Are you excited regarding Lisandro Martinez? I am certainly very excited, over the moon. Now, coming to a burning issue that's been lingering on forever and hasn't really been decided. We're talking about Mason Greenwood's future, 100%. Now, I'm reading reports and I'm a little bit conflicted because they are probably looking to sell him and to get as much money as possible. Juventus is out for it. There's some La Liga clubs out for him. And but at the same time, United need a proper right winger as well. And Mason Greenwood, love him or hate him, whatever you see, can't be undone. But he's actually a contracted football player to Manchester United, and he's been doing bits. One of Sir Jim Ratcliffe's first orders of business this summer is to decide on Mason Greenwood's future, and it's been led to believe as well that if they don't get what they want from Mason Greenwood, they will bring him back in the summer for the for the summer window, pre-season tour, and that might, cause some people to shrug and not support. But you know, I, as a person, believe in second chances. I, as a person, believe that nobody's bigger than the club, and whatever you've done off the pitch, it's not my concern. It's been investigated by the club. It's been poorly handled, hence why we've seen a lot of sacking. And we have now a new management, a new leadership that will look at more of the characteristic of the player and what you can offer on the pitch. And there's been, I don't know, it's been toxic to talk about Greenwood, but at the end of the day, we need to look at what's best for the club, what's best for this team. And Mason Greenwood into this squad next season will be lethal, in my opinion. But it's been doing a lot of rounds in the media, and it's been a lot of speculations. However, Getafe are very interesting to have him. There's been reports say that they're willing to take another loan, but they can't really, do that because they want to sell Mason Greenwood, and Getafe cannot afford it. So we're looking at Juventus, we're looking at Atletico Madrid, for instance. But it's going to be very interesting what happens. So first thing in order, what is going on with Mason Greenwood? Will he be retracted back or will he be sold? If you do sell him, I think they're looking in some sums of 45 million euros, but I think he's worth more than that. He's such a talent still. He's got a lot to offer, and he's been doing madness over there with Getafe. Anyway, let me know what you think. Do you mind having a Greenwood back, or do you want to sell him in the summer? I'm stuck between a rock and hard place, so I am trying to be objective here. Anyway, thank you for watching. Please do not forget to like and subscribe to this video, and we shall see you to the next one. Glory, glory, Manchester United, and remember, Glazers out at all cost. Be Mick Ruby here, MUFC Realist TV. I had my say, and hopefully I made you a better day. Bye for now. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching MUFC Realist TV. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on the socials.